but I'm sure that there has been something which was a moment for you that you have remembered. And we will change the order, and we will start with Katie.
Okay, so this is my first and proper big experience with responsible gaming. I started in the gambling industry when I was 19 years old, and I started in customer support, and I was managing customer support for many different languages. And I obviously had 2 weeks training, I think, before I started in customer support. We got a little bit knowledge of responsible gaming. And I think I'd been in the role just a couple of months, definitely less than 6 months, when I got a phone call from a customer who threatened to kill himself if I didn't deposit all of his money back, or I gave all of his deposits back, more or less. And he was saying everything from that he had taken money from his kids' piggy banks down to he was going to end his life and it would be my responsibility, my fault. And as a 19-year-old, what do you say? What do you do? I had my manager was next to me. He was able to listen in on the call, but the only thing he really said to me was, you have to stay on the call. You cannot hang up. No matter what, you have to stay on the call. It has to be his choice. The only thing you can do is just give him helpline numbers. You can direct him to websites, but you cannot hang up. So I just had to sit there and listen to him, and it was horrible, and I will never forget it. And afterwards, of course, for a long time, I used to we locked his account straight away, but we had a lot of other different brands. I would go in and check if I could find him, and it's something that deeply, deeply affects me until this day. I want to try to make sure as much as possible that not only we don't have players who get addicted and get to that point, but that we also have more experienced customer support. That doesn't we have to have someone to forward those types of calls to that actually knows how to handle those situations. But yeah, that's one that's really stuck with me.
Thank you. I believe it was a very intense experience, and I would also think that there are many individuals like yourself who would end up in such a situation without being prepared for something like that. And I think it's one of the areas where also the responsible gambling part of the industry and player protection part of the industry are lacking behind, because we are not really talking about this topic. And it could happen to anybody in any casino. It's just how life goes, and it's important to be prepared for such situations for the sake of the player, but also for the sake of the person who is like yourself on the other side of the line, because it can be traumatic. And if you are prepared for such calls, the overall conclusion and the overall impact could be much better. Thank you very much for sharing it. Darina?
I wanted also to highlight that now we're facing these cases in our casinos on daily basis. Every third player who loses money, he's coming and popping up this subject that he's gonna kill himself. Of course, we understand that 99.9% of them, they're not gonna do this. And this is the way how they manipulate, because they know that after this we're taking our proper steps, that of course we're going to block him, we're going to have discussion, we're going to refund maximum what we can do from our side. But yes, I completely understand how customer support can feel, because you never know, and maybe this 0.1% can be on your hands, and we are not ready for this. Also, I wanted to highlight that we are, as a brand, we never, not one client worth the risk to lose our license, to lose our brand on the platform, and we are never going to cross this line, keep retaining the player who has this threat, who threatens us in this way, because it just doesn't make a real profit out of it. Regarding my case was not so dramatic, but still, I had the player, he was investing, he was depositing in the casino, and his wife, she sent message that He's a gambler addicted person. He sold already his car. He sold everything. Please block his account, etc. Of course, we took our steps and we closed his account. And then I see that within 1 hour, he does registration on our another brand on the same platform. Just I can see that it's the same person. Of course, he's not aware that we're the same company. And he started playing the same way. He had the same player behavior. So what he actually did, he was playing roulette. When he plays roulette, usually players, they deposit a lot of money. It's not like 20 euro minimum deposit. And we can't do retention based on bonuses, on wager. We can't increase this wager limit or whatever. So what we decided to do, because we understood that this is the problem, that he's a gambler addicted and he already lost money, we started giving him 200 euro once per week with the max. He was not able to deposit nothing else, and he was not able to withdraw more than, like we also set this limit. In the end, he learned, like we teach him how to play on small amounts, and I don't know like what happened after, to be honest, but I know for several, I believe 1 year, he was keep playing in our casino with the quite like, it was not crazy amount of money. It was like up to 5,000 euro per month. But before he used to spend in one night like 30 up to maximum. It was 68,000 euro. He spent just in one on roulette in one night. So was it good? Should we block him? Maybe yes. Will he stop playing forever? Of course, no. He will go and find another casino where he can spend all this money. Can I say that we teach player how to play responsibly? So it also sounds really weird. Like we're teaching a gambler addicted person how to play. That's weird. But was it helpful for him? Yes, it was. And in the end of the day, we got a player who is loyal to casino. He has special support from our side, like he's super VIP, not player, not because like we give him super bonuses, just because it's a different approach how we retain him, because we know he's high risk player. But yeah, that was the story. I don't know how moral and ethical it sounds, but we all are in this industry, and I believe this is the step we could have proud from our side, because could we retain him more hard and more cruel? Yes, of course, but we chose another way. Thank you.
Thank you, Verena. I believe this is what you call a rapid start for a discussion like this. So we started to talking about the most severe cases and the cases where really gambling harm can cause someone's life. And as a matter of fact, there is a majority of gamblers who are gambling on a different spectrum of problem gambling. They could be gambling without any issues, but it's those couple of percentages which basically force us to do these actions and to help with that. And I hate to brag about any work that we will be doing, but I think it's appropriate to say that as part of our Casino Guru Academy, we have released a course on suicide prevention. It's the only course out there on the internet which is freely accessible to any operator, almost anyone on the internet. And it helps exactly this, to prepare for such situations and ideally de-escalate them towards the position where both parties are in a more calmer state. Lars, what is your first experience?
So I'm not sure if people are aware, the panel are aware, but way back in the day when I started my gaming career, I used to own a poker club in Stockholm, and obviously we became big, so we had around 3,000 members after like a year or so. So we became one of, I think, Europe's biggest poker club, or tandem with one in UK. And we quickly realized that, and we didn't have any table games, no slot games, nothing, but we quickly realized that there were players there, young players, 18, 20, and so forth, that actually were playing way too much, and some of them became problem players. So compared to the state casinos in Sweden, who actually didn't have any back then any implementation of responsible gaming whatsoever. We were a private poker club, and this was basically low stakes poker, and that was it. But they still gambled way too much, and some of them obviously had a problem. So we took active steps, me and the owners, to confront them, talk to them, and some of them, after a while, came to us and actually said that, yeah, I have a problem, and we offered them to go to special places, get help, and obviously we banned them from our poker club. And what we also did, even though we, in reality, obviously 20 something years ago, this poker club was not 100% legal, I still made phone calls to Casino Cosmopol and told about this person, this name, on this person's behalf. Obviously, I got his permission to do so, and said that you should not let this person into play because he has asked me. And that is something that I'm really proud of. So that person, of these people, I think it was around 10, who we actively helped during this period. They are not playing anymore, that they stopped playing, and we had no interest of having them down in the poker club and actually walking home broke every day and feeling like shit. The idea of having the poker club was to have fun and have people to enjoy the game and actually enjoy the player experience. So that's what we did, and this was real life, face-to-face interactions with people. Obviously then, later on now in my career, when I'm doing online, I'm getting everything from LinkedIn messages to people coming up to me and basically telling me that I'm an asshole who's promoting gambling, etc., etc. So this is something that I take very, very seriously, and I think that overall, if we do this correctly, and actually make sure that, okay, fine, a player who plays high stakes, put in a lot of money, deposit every day, he might be a fantastic revenue earner for the casino or whatever it might be, but this is short-term thinking, and this is something that I think we need to address today, that we need to think long-term and how to keep the ecosystem working with happy players. And also, it's very damaging for the industry if we don't.
Can I just jump in? Sorry. I don't think long term. I think we have to be more proactive. Like we have to work free before they even start an account. Like that's when they should know about all the risks and how to avoid it. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and you are touching the great point in this, because the thing I was thinking about when you were speaking, that we've been discussing severe cases, as I was saying before. But then each of you took an approach which was very personal, very detailed, and you are unable to do it with every player. So the success with reducement of gambling-related harm is in scaling it. So creating systems which would help everyone to play within their limits. And that is the real question, which answer or its solution comes from contribution from different sides. And the thing you said, Katie, that relies to that very well. But I wanted to touch upon the thing Darina said about the case, because as it is with self-harm threats, but also with self-exclusion requests, you cannot be 100% sure whether there is real harm going on and whether this person is really in that situation, or whether it is a way for them to achieve something. And I believe in a commercially driven environment, this is something which is being considered, because then if you will be just blocking everybody at the start of their communication, you might end up in a situation that you will just closing the doors for your business and just opening doors for others without that person suffering. And it's a very difficult position to be in. So I would like to ask you, Darina, when in such a performance-driven environment, how often is this responsibility the part of these conversation, and how you would be able to find out whether it is really the case of someone experiencing harm or just someone trying to get a bonus or something else from you?
Actually, I believe with the experience, we see and we can understand when player starts to manipulate. Also, platform, they share with us information about the players. And okay, let's start from the very beginning. We have different, diversify players, like general players, those who do just really small deposits, and different casinos. They have they call it differently, like bronze, silver, gold, or VIP 1 to 3. It's not about only the bonus what we offer. We do social portrait of every player who cross some amount lines. For example, 90% of all players, they are not crypto depositors, so we can check the history of their payments. For example, if it's a bank, we always do request to the bank to check if they play with the bank credit money, or if they, I don't know, already sold something or whatever. Like our customer support, like it's a VIP department, actually, not customer support. They have a lot of tools to get this information about the person, and we know every VIP player who plays and on what money from, where he got it, how he spends. So I can say that almost never we are finding us out in position that, oh my God, we didn't know that all these huge volumes of money are because he sold the apartment house or whatever and he lost something. No, like if somebody tells you this, I believe like they don't work well or they just lie, because we know from where this money comes. The second point that, as I mentioned already, we are strictly regulated by the platform, and it's in our interest not to lose this loyalty from the platform, and we don't want to get troubles from them, because of course if there is a self-exclusion request and we don't close the account, we're gonna have big problems. So I can tell only for ROX partners, if we have this request, yes, we can see that most of them it's emotional request, and most probably we will find the same player on our second brand, third brand, or wherever. He will not go out from the platform. He will keep playing, but it's obligation. We close these accounts. We don't push them to play forward, unfortunately, maybe for us. About all this responsible story, like how often we think about it, like of course it's not something that we have in our mind on a daily basis, but this is that implements in our business strategy, because as I mentioned, we can lose our brand if we have like loud case or we have started having problems, or for example, person plays with the bank credit money, then he has the right to request the chargeback, and bank can take all this money back. So bank will find out that this is the casino where he spends all his funds, and we're gonna lose the payment methods, etc. And once we lose payment methods, it's not our brand personal, like it's all the platforms. So this is something that we can lose more than we win from keep retaining the excluded player. And this would point one. Also, I think that this is a part for affiliate part, because when we all are hunting for first time depositors most of the time, and affiliates, they see that the lifetime of the most of the players, it can be 3 or 4 months. In this case, I believe it's their part sometimes to think how do they attract the new players, and they have also to use their tools how to do it more lifetime, how to attract, sorry, I'm just confused on my mind, my thoughts. It's affiliates, they must think about this part of the subject as well. So, for example, they don't use on their creatives free spins or something that is just impulsive moment to deposit right now and then to disappear forever. They can do it. It's more, sometimes it's more expensive, not sometimes, it's always more expensive, but it works better always.
Thank you. So, from what you've been saying, the first point that I got was that when you are unsure about whether there is a real harm going on, you will lean on data and you will take a look what are the spendings, where the money is coming from, literally when there is a chance that the person might be experiencing gambling or might be in risk. This is something that, from my perspective, not all the operators who are required to do are doing it. I've quite often met with the position that companies would rather do not know this, because then it would somehow impair and somehow change their decision making. And it applies especially when you are dealing with VIP players, players that are spending a lot of money. You, Katie, had experience working with VIP players, so my question to you is, when there is a line between engagement and bringing the real entertainment for VIP players and also making them spending the money, and where is the line between manipulation and trying to get most of them?
I think it's like, so a lot of the rules have changed over the years. Like, going back to what Irina said and like what you can and can't say, like 15 years ago you could say risk, for example, like there was an old brand called risk. Now you can't say that, or bet now, and like all of that stuff. So manipulation wise, it changes, right? But I believe, for me, one of the things I really struggled with when it came to manipulation, or how to say, was when it was big winners. When you have someone who wins a jackpot or like just a lot of money, and of course it was part of my job to having to call them, congratulate them, but also offer a bonus, you know, because we want that money back. There's also been times where I've seen payments, for example, hold the money extra long just because they might actually cancel the payment and then, you know, play for it anyway. And those tactics, I don't know, honestly, if people still do, like operators still do this today, but that's back in the day what we did. One thing that I think changed the game and made me feel more comfortable with my players, my VIP players, was when we started with Source of Wealth, just like Irina said. And you know, we were able to actually see that the players earned enough money to cover the amount that they were spending. And unfortunately, we did lose a lot of VIP players when Source and Wealth came into force, especially in the UK, but I think it's for the better good. I think that's what we have to do, and I think going back to, again, to like be proactive, I wish that I would have, back in the day, even the first call I had with my VIP players, told them about, you know, you can set limits, you know, you can do this and that, blah, blah, blah. But again, I was so young in the industry, or we as an industry were so young, we didn't really focus on it as much as we do today. But yeah, that's my tips.
I want to mention, I have interesting case about this, what you mentioned, that it's very easy to deposit and very hard to withdraw. We had it's case happens with us 1 year ago. We had player from France. He deposited $200, not more, and he won 140,000 euro. It was all one set. And we have to, he requests, of course, the withdrawal. We wanted to proceed, and we asked the KYC, because obviously in casino, to deposit you don't need nothing, to withdraw you need to pass through KYC. And he rejected to do this. he sent a lot of messages in customer support that we are scammers, that we do this, like we show like that he won a lot of money just to get this information, personal details from him. He closed his account and he writes in all like Trustpilot, everywhere reviews that we are a scam casino, that lie that he wins a lot of money, but still now he has this balance in his account. I hope he doesn't hear me, but he can come and withdraw this money anytime. So yes, some people with these huge wins, I was surprised and shocked that he didn't. Of course, the first intent is to go and take all and be happy.
But I think it's not only casino. So I've had a personal experience with like a personal friend who won an insane amount on lottery. And the same thing happened for lottery. Like he did give some of the money away and spend it. The majority he deposited back, because it's that thinking now that you're thinking that you will win again. You have the chance. Like it's just the first time you win, right? But
and also it's an interest of many operators that they will get a portion of the money back. Yeah. But then comes the other side when the person is satisfied with the money and is able to withdraw it because of the like their connection to the brand. They might spend the money back during the longer period of time because they want to have that kind of entertainment. But I would like to turn this to Lars. We are running out of time. I didn't even realize we should end in like 5 minutes, and we will hopefully have time for one question. But you, Lars, your experience from different companies, I believe that your perspective on responsible gambling would be through systems. So the question is how what does it actually mean to have responsibility by design within this? Because we've heard a couple of things and areas that we can look into, but if you put all that together, how it could work in a company successfully.
So my thinking is this. So this basically 2 steps. So I'm going to touch on AI after, but first of all, obviously the business is extremely good and have been working hard, very hard, to make sure that we have basically pinpoint exactly. We know the players, we know the patterns, we know when we're going to shoot the CRM message, we know when we're going to do this, we know exactly when to do what to make sure that they actually deposit, that they keep playing, all of this. So if we have all this data and we can pinpoint actually down to the player on exactly what to do and when to do what, why not twist that around as well? And going back to what Katie said, that we can be much more proactive, for sure. We know exactly, we can track the pattern of this player, and you see that, okay, this player has deposited, just making up a stupid number now, but 20 times in the last 24 hours, or this person is obviously spending way too much money than the person can afford, so something is off here. And that player is not going to be a good representative of our brand when he loses the last penny or she, and then go out and tell in forums, brands, or in newspapers, in the worst case scenario, that we are a shitty brand or we are a horrible supplier because we provided this game that made me lose all this money. So if we can do everything so good to make the money coming in, we should be able to be proactive and track this inside the system before the worst case scenario happens, which would be that the player loses everything, and in the absolute worst case scenario, they actually go and kill themselves. It happens. So now with the new technology, with the AI coming in, which I'm very passionate about, it's super easy to track exactly what's going on. You can see second by second by second, and you can have warning pop-ups, you can have everything coming up on your screen saying that X player have now deposited 10 times over the limit, or 10 times as much as it should do according to our standards within the company. And this is the company's responsibility. I would say the operator in this case, to set the bar. What do we think is responsible gambling? Okay, we think that the maximum deposit per day is 2. or we think that the number is X, Y, Z. This is for us. And then if you apply AI to that, then you can see, okay, this person is over. This person needs a phone call saying, hey, are you okay? I think you're depositing too much. And then actually the person can say, yeah, but then they can show proof of wealth, whatever. If they want to keep playing and they have $1 billion, happy days. But if the person cannot, and they're basically down to their last penny, they should be excluded. And that it's important because it's our industry that we need to live on. So again, we need to be much more proactive. And that's why I think it lives in the system.
Thank you, Lars. Do we have any question from the audience?
I don't think we have time for questions. I'm sorry.
Okay, then I will just conclude the panel. Thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you.
I believe the bottom line is that the data is here, the power is here. I believe it very much relates to what Lars was saying. I mean, what seems like an effective way is to top-bottom approach with this, because if the company leaders are going to set up the threshold, set up the benchmark, where is the threshold, where is the line where we should act, how we should behave, and if they are going to be able to implement this throughout the company, through different departments, and have a actionable plan for them, this is what you are supposed to do if things like that are happening, then gradually the culture is going to change and the more responsive approach is going to lay down, and everybody will be feeling they are contributing towards this with their own portion. Thank you very much for your contributions again. It was very nice to be talking to you this morning, and I hope you have enjoyed it as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.